Nikhil, 1 minute.
Yeah.
For everyone, is the voice clear? For us here, it's little breaking.
Yeah, it's not connected, guys. Jaatre.
Okay, fine. We will take care. Yes, Nikhil, you can continue. Sorry.
Okay. So sorry, back to this. So yeah, the target audience is writers. And if I'm trying to share the journey of me building this app, starting with the exact process which I took, which is what were the problems I identified? Creating simple videos. And when I say simple videos, I'm talking about just recording on a smartphone, sharing your screen probably, or I'll do, some whiteboard stuff right now. What you're doing is one by one, step by step, you are already building an audience. And while in the process, even before launching your app, when you're sharing a lot of the steps you're going through, starting with the problem, and then the first version, what you liked, what you didn't like, testing it out with some users, all of these can be simple apps, simple videos, maybe even a Zoom recording. And you upload these on LinkedIn, on YouTube. What you're doing is you're building up an audience. Now, this audience, when you eventually do launch your app, when you eventually do launch a piece of software, they'll be already your fans and they will already end up purchasing it. And you would have built a community around this entire idea of trying to solve some problem for writers. So in this example, right, when people say, oh, I want to do marketing and I want to do ads and all of that, what I want to tell you is right now, ads and marketing don't work, at least as far as I can tell. The typical version of ads, high production ads, which are played in TV commercials. For your early audience, I'm being very specific, for your early audience, which is your first 100 or first 1,000 customers, what works is showing them that you are a person like them, going through a journey, solving a problem, and I want you to be part of that journey. So if I were in Prashant's case, what I would be doing is, I'll just share my screen very quickly. I hope you guys can see my screen. Perfect. Okay. I hope you guys can see my screen. Guys, in the chat, can you just put yes?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, let me just close this. So, by the way, we're talking about YouTube specifically right now because, that's a platform I work aggressively with. But you're talking about 400 to 450 daily monthly active users in India itself. And of course, it's like the second largest search engine. So now if I'm in Prashant's case, I'm looking at YouTube and I'm like, okay, can I share my journey? Can I share my journey with the world? Wherein what I am doing is when I say journey, right, I'm not referring to some crazy things. I'm just talking about the exact steps I'm taking to get to release of that app. And over here, I'm creating simple, authentic videos where I am telling them, sharing my screen, showing them, okay, this is what I'm building. These are the problems, and just uploading them on YouTube and making sure that I'm sharing real facts, not treating it like something scripted or inauthentic. What you're trying to show the audience which you're building is I'm a person just like you trying to solve this problem, or this is an interesting project I'm working on. So this is how I would start. Now let's take the second example, which was Preeti creating an ad. Preeti, if I had some more context, I would have maybe been able to talk about how I would approach YouTube if I were in your case. But let's move to the next one, which is Manan. Now, Manan says, reach the highest rank in a game by only giving 1 hour. For Call of Duty Mobile. Now, this is a very interesting thing, and because we have kids here, I want to share this. So there is a large economy which has been created, all thanks to YouTube live streaming. I'm sure Manan and other people know of this. Twitch or YouTube live streaming, wherein what they do is, as they are playing the game, they share the screen, right? And then they go live on YouTube as they are playing, and just go through the whole game. This form of gaming, this live streaming, is a massive industry. So if I was in Manan's case, all I would have done is, every time I'm going live, every time I start playing my game, I make sure that I'm going live on YouTube and sharing this journey which I am at, which is trying to get to rank 1. This is a great goal for me to share an audience with. And why I'm telling you this specifically is, once you get to sufficient followers, you're talking about earning in thousands initially and lakhs over time, maybe even crores, just by playing a Call of Duty game. And because you're approaching high level of expertise when you're trying to get to rank 1, you will be going through a lot of ups and downs in this journey. Just a simple thing wherein you're live streaming on YouTube as you play, like you have an opportunity to build a massive audience, and then after you finish playing Call of Duty, you can maybe go on to a different game, as you get to rank 1 in Call of Duty. Or, as say, for example, if you're approaching that rank 1, you will end up getting invited to tournaments, sharing your journey, being part of tournaments, being part of the entire, I don't know how many of you know, or how many of you here know this, but the entire esports genre. Esports is basically sports which is based on gaming of different kinds of games, is massive. It's a multi-billion, tens of billion-dollar industry. So Manan, I hope you are live streaming. If you're not, you're missing out. Let's move to the next one. Entrepreneurship. Akansha, if you can share some business, I can help you out. But yeah, now I wanted to take these examples and just to give you some context of how each one of you right here, I've never met you before. This is the first time I'm interacting, but very quickly, you can think of leveraging YouTube and content creation to basically start building your audience. And you'll hear me say building your audience again and again, because anything you do, small, big, doesn't matter. It can be entrepreneurial, it can be not for profit, doesn't matter. If you don't have an audience, have you really done it? And I really want you to think about it, because today, if you ask me, the most important currency which you have is not your rupee or not even your dollar. It is actually something we call attention. So I want you to just think yourself and put in the chat, right on top of your mind. Typically, if you end up just spending some time and thinking, who is like the first YouTube channel or some Instagram creator you end up thinking of in your mind? If you're just free and you're just thinking about something, what do you end up thinking about? Do you think of a YouTube channel, Instagram, or an Instagram account? And if yes, can you just share which channel is it in the chat? If you don't think about any of these guys, no problem. You can just tell no. But if you do, just share some of these channel names. And I'm asking this question specifically. So Advay says Polyford.
It's
Hashtag.
like polyflower.
Sorry?
It's pronounced like polyflower.
Oh, okay. Polyflower. Okay. And reels about Dhoni, no specific channel. Why I asked you this question is, why attention is so important is, when I started off, I told you guys, right? You make decisions because of content which you consume. And the reason for that is content which you consume grabs your mental attention. And based on this is what you make decisions. And I'm sure every one of us will have either some sort of a speech which we've seen, some sort of TV show which we're following, some sports which we're following, some gaming channel which we're following, whatever it is. And these guys, whatever they're doing, whatever they're talking, these end up forming our opinions, and this is how we make decisions. And this is why attention is the most important currency. So coming back to the original point, the reason you need attention to whatever you're doing is that is how you judge you're going on the right track. If you're garnering sufficient attention, it is proof. It's proof that, okay, the world is valuing what you're doing. So even if when you're working on an entrepreneurial venture, when you're working to solve a problem, a simple way to check whether it's working or not is, are you getting sufficient attention from the audience you're thinking about? So this is the context of why you should even think of creating a lot of videos and going active and aggressive on YouTube or any other platform for that matter. Now that I hope like you understand the importance of this, because now that that's done, I'll take you through a step-by-step process which you can follow to actually start creating your own YouTube videos. So are you clear with this? My first question is that if yes, if it makes sense, then we'll go to the next part. So wow, I have some more channels, Dangy Bros and
Yes.
Aarohi, Slay Point, Natural Building. Very nice. So I just got one yes. I'm assuming others still are not clear of why you should think of content.
Yes.
Okay, we have two more. That's it. So we'll move to the next part. Perfect. Okay. So now, typically, right, when you start working on trying to think, okay, I want to start creating content, you start with what we call as target audience. So, oops, sorry. Yeah. So what's a target audience? A target audience is complete clarity on who is going to watch your content. When I say complete clarity, what do I mean by that? You need to be able to answer who this person is. You need to be able to answer what they like. You need to be able to answer what they dislike. You need to be able to answer what they fear. You need to be able to answer what are their motivators. You need to be able to answer all of these questions, and I'll show you a sample of a target audience. But before you start thinking about topics and videos and video production and or anything of that sort, you have to start with a very, very clear target audience. So a simple example, I'm sharing my screen again, is something like this. So for example, say I'm thinking that, okay, I want athletes to be my target audience. I want to first start with making a list of what are fears of what an athlete has. Psychologically think about it. Then think about what are they trying to, how are they motivating themselves? Like an athlete wants to improve their performance. They don't want, to have bad performances. They're scared of burnout. Burnout is basically when they train too much or they play too much and they mentally can't focus. They don't have the right guidance or support. What are the goals for an athlete? So you start looking at how do they are trying to win competitions, tournaments. They're trying to recover fast. They're trying to get a lot of expert guidance. And of course, they want to get social recognition. Then what are some beliefs or values which they have? So beliefs and values are core principles which are non-negotiable for that person. So they have discipline. They want to give their personal best. They want to maintain peak physical condition. So these are, and start with trying to write this down exactly for whomever you're targeting. So in this case, for example, Manan in Call of Duty case, if I were working on a sheet like this for him, I would start with people who like gaming enthusiasts. What are their fears? Maybe they they're not such a good Call of Duty player. And what are their motivators? They just want to get a sense of thrill while playing Call of Duty. They want to improve their game. They want to learn from the best. What are their goals? They also want to improve their ranking like Manan. They maybe want to watch something entertaining, watch someone great play. And their beliefs or values, they value someone who's accurate in the game, who's good at the game. Once you start answering these questions, I'm just giving you an example in this case, spend good amount of time here. But once you start answering these questions for your target audience, I then put the list of channels which they follow right now. So in Manan's case, it'll be some gaming channels. In Prashant's case, it'll be maybe some book review channels or some writing channels or video essay channels. I just remember these two. I try to create some groups they follow. This is your Facebook groups or WhatsApp groups. And I also make a list of hashtags they follow. Now, why am I doing this entire activity? Once I prepare a sheet like this, I'll get an understanding of who is my viewer. What is the kind of content they like? What is the kind of stories they like? What is the kind of topics they like? So this is my step one, which is identify and establish a clear target audience. So are we clear till here? Any questions about target audience? If you want, you can ask them in the chat right now.
If you like, you identify the channels or groups that they follow, but you yourself don't follow them, then what?
That's okay. So I never, the reason you identify the channels they follow and the groups they follow is so that you understand the kind of content which is appealing to that target audience. So one simple thing which I do when I'm researching on a particular topic, on a particular channel is, when I log into YouTube, on the top right, so I hope you can see my screen, I can click on this. I can click on switch account. Okay. And then I can just click on add account, or I can just create a dummy channel. Now what this does, I'll just name it as, Nikhil dummy, whatever it is. And when I'm logging into YouTube, I can switch to that specific channel. So let me just switch to this channel. And only in this channel, I will follow those channels wherein my main video feed, what is my personal feed, doesn't get affected. But over here, I can see the list of all the channels which my target audience may find interesting. Like, are you seeing this? This is for one of my YouTube channels. One of the sub accounts which I've created in YouTube. And I'm following all the different channels which I would personally never follow, but my target audience would follow. Once I do this and I go to the home page, right? I end up getting recommended a lot of videos. Are you seeing this? So I end up getting recommended a lot of videos, which probably the people who follow these channels also get recommended. This becomes the starting point for my research into my target audience. So does that make sense? Like what I'm saying, I don't know who asked. I think Preeti asked the question.
Yeah, it makes sense, but maybe it is not my purpose.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Nothing, carry on.
Okay, so the reason I'm following these channels, which my prospective target audience may follow, is so that I get an insight into the topics which they are interested in, and I get an insight into the kind of creators they are following. So I start getting a lot of ideas. Okay, once you get something like this ready, so then what you do is, so step one is prepare that. Any other questions related to target audience? By the way, I'm ready to take them right now. So no other questions, I'm guessing. Okay, so once the target audience is done, you try to create content ideas. And these content ideas fall, in my opinion, under 3 buckets. So we call them, there's different ways of thinking about this, but I'll just call them TTT, 3 T's: traffic, trust, and transaction. Another way of looking at this is traffic or how to, trust or hub, and transaction hero. Just remember this three. Now I'll explain what each one of these is. But basically, let's start with the first type of content, which is your traffic or how to. So once you understand your target audience, right, you also need to figure out what are the things they are curious about. What are the things they are searching on Google or on Quora? And then what are the things, what are the kind of questions your target audience has? And I make a list. I make a list of all the questions you can have, FAQs, it'll be some problems they're facing, whatever it is. And once I have these questions, I can start creating videos for to address each one of these questions. So a simple example of this is, if you've seen cooking channels, like how do I cook ABCD? Or like does milk, how does milk spoil? Or how do you rectify if your dish has become very salty? And of course, all the standard, cooking recipe. So you start with trying to address curiosities, questions, problems of your target audience first. This becomes the first set of your videos. Now, in the examples which we had, let me take example of Prashant. So in Prashant's case, the screenwriting app. So the question may be how to format my script. It's a very simple question, which I'm 100% sure, Prashant, a lot of your target audience will end up asking. Like, I've not even done the search. And the way you can start doing this search is you go on Google and you type how to format a script. Let's see. And once I type that in Google, you will come across this people ask for. I'm sure all of you have come across this. And this will give you a lot of FAQs which people are searching for in Google. Like Google, of course, people keep searching a lot of questions, right? So you just look at the number of FAQs which are right here just related to script. How to format the end of the script. What are the 7 stages to script? How long is a short script? How do you write a script fast? Like all of these are questions which someone who is searching for how to format a script may be, trying to find answers for. And all of these, each one can be a simple, either a 60-second video, a 3-minute video, a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video, whatever it is, trying to answer these questions. So I would start here. And we call these topics how-to topics or traffic topics because these start building up traffic to your YouTube channel or to your LinkedIn page or Instagram, whatever it is. So are you clear with what I mean by traffic related topics? Guys, any questions about this?
Yes.
So no. Perfect. So once I have finished, I've started brainstorming and built traffic, the next thing I want to do is establish trust with my audience. So how do you establish trust with an audience? It's to showcase your expertise. Show them how you think, why you probably understand the space well, and establish a lot of trust. So again, let's take the example of the screenwriting app, which Prashant is working on. And how do you establish trust is, probably if I were you, I would try to find the script of some famous movie. Right? Some famous movie, and what you learned from it. from that script, reading that script. So I want to focus on one point here. I see a lot of people fall in this trap wherein they're working on a project and they only want to talk about that project. The project, what you're doing is a part of who you are. When you're in this case, what you learn from a script, that may not be directly related to a writing app, but a video like this, a content piece like this, script of say Bahubali and what you learn from it, this will be very appealing to screenwriter target audience. Like the people who are going to be doing screenwriting, people who are going to be. So when you're thinking of content, don't just think of creating content which is directly related to your project. Think of creating content focused on your audience. It may or may not be related to your project. So breaking down a famous movie script or doing script versus scene. Like how did something like this look? And what you learn from it? What you're doing here is you're showcasing an understanding and expertise of that craft of screenwriting. You're showcasing that understanding script writing well so that, I can see how the script compares to a movie scene. And these are some viral video ideas which will really appeal to different sort of screenwriters. So let's take Manan's example, who is working on Call of Duty. I would do videos like in the trust space, I would do challenge videos. So for example, I don't know how many of you know Call of Duty. It's a first-person shooter game. It's, where like you go around trying to shoot down a lot of your opponents. And I would do a challenge in Call of Duty where I'll have a gun, like I will only use a knife to win this game. So everyone has guns and machine guns, but just with a knife, I'm going to win Call of Duty. I mean, if you're a rank 1 player, you should be that good. So when he's able to finish the entire game with just a knife, where other players are playing with, machine guns and all of that, he'll actually end up building a lot of trust with his audience. Ki, boss, this guy is damn good. Right? So did you understand the trust part, guys, or do you have any questions about this?
I'm not sure with script versus scene.
Sorry, can you? Oh, okay. The video of script versus scene you didn't
scene.
understand. Yeah. So what I would do is, for example, there is a famous scene in any movie, right? So Bahubali, for example, there's a scene where Katappa meets Bahubali. I forget it, but that 30 seconds was a very viral thing, right? When he says ki I killed Bahubali. So that's a very viral thing. And what you end up doing is, I'm sure when you search on Google, you'll find the script for that scene, what was written and how that scene was actually shown in the movie. And what's the differences? Was the script followed correctly? What was the impact of the screenwriter? Just doing an analysis of that, showing your expertise of understanding the scripting space. So what you have to understand is the target audience for the screenwriter app. They are writers, okay? And what writers are interested in is, well, popular writer work. And popular writer doesn't get as popular globally. So imagine now why this is important is, from a marketing perspective, you achieve two things. One is you exactly hit the target audience, which are your writers. The second thing is we call this, I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard of this term, it's called trend jacking, okay? Wherein you hook yourself or your brand with a much, much bigger brand. For example, if I see a Bahubali script in the YouTube title, script review or script breakdown, I'll 100% click on that video. Just because I'm so interested in Bahubali. You got what I'm trying to say. So you're trend jacking or you're pegging yourself onto that bigger brand and you're trying to get a lot more visibility or eyeballs. So does that make sense? So Prashant asked a very interesting question. He asked, while you go about trend jacking, what kind of copyright and IP issues could we run into and how can we address them? So Prashant, a simple tip for you in this particular example is instead of using video clips, just use photos. Photos, like 6 to 7 photo scenes. No one is going to copyright strike you for photo use. For video use, you have to be careful. You can't share clips from bigger movies and all of that. But yeah, like if you use photos, people will be able to relate to it. So no need to worry about that. But the whole idea behind trust-based topics is to showcase your expertise. I remember one person said accounting, he does something related to accounting. So if I were him, right, to do trust-related topic, what I would do is, like right now it's a trending topic, like why Adani stock is screwed up, like why Adani stock is going up and down or viral. So like he can just open, because it's a publicly traded company, a lot of the financial statements are available. Just go through the financial statements and give a very accounting perspective and explain to them from an accounting perspective. So you establish some trust-based topics. And then finally, this is something which you should do probably once in every 10 videos, is what we call transaction or hero. Here, we are trying to push that person to either make a purchase with us, to buy our product, our service, or to become, some sort of a paid follower or something like that. Now, in Manan's case, for example, Call of Duty gaming, for transaction, he can enable in YouTube, there's something called as super chat, where people who like watching you, they can actually directly pay you, because you're providing them a lot of entertainment. Or transaction videos are focused on selling your product or service. So these are the closest thing we have to ads. And the typical ratio, which I suggest to any channel who's starting is, trust traffic should be 4:4, and transaction video or content piece should just be 1. So every 8 videos which you put out, which are focused on building trust, building traffic, only 1 of them is focused on transaction. And the reason you do it like this is to make sure that the audience doesn't feel that, oh, ye hamesha humko kuch bechne ka koshish kar raha hai. Like, they are just trying to sell me something. And I would say, as much as possible, don't focus too much on the transaction type videos, because typically it tends to, it ends up alienating your audience. Focus a lot more on these. And according to me, if you do these 2 well, this transaction just follows on its own. You don't have to even sell. So once you establish at least 4 trust topics, 4 traffic topics, what do you do? How do you actually make the video? So guys, I want you to first understand this. Just summarizing, right? You build a very, very clear target audience. You research on all the channels they follow, what kind of topics they're interested in. Then you try to establish 3 traffic or how-to topics, trust, how do you showcase your expertise topics, and then maybe 1 transaction topic. Once you do this, let's get into video production. So specifically in the context of social media videos, not ads and things like that, you have to understand that. So I'm just sharing my screen again. You don't have to have fancy equipment or fancy production. So for example, what you need to focus on, the production quality in YouTube is not that it is very cinematically done. It shouldn't feel produced. It shouldn't feel like someone has sat down and written. It has to be real. It has to be clear. You need to have decent light. So if you don't have light, just sit near a window like I do. Because you get a lot of natural light and you can use that. You need to have decent audio. So for example, the setup which you're seeing right now, I have a mic. This mic is what I purchased. It costs around 3,000, 4,000 rupees. I am using my smartphone as my camera. And this green screen was purchased for 2,000 rupees. Like the entire setup is about 5,000 rupees. It's not more than that. Now, why am I telling you this? I have seen people fall into this very bad habit of thinking too much about, oh, it doesn't look good, it doesn't sound good. What you have to focus on is needs to have good light, good audio, and it needs to have good pacing. It needs to be simple, straightforward, and clear for people to understand. And follow this one very specific format which I say for any video, which is try to focus a lot on creating a setup or an introduction, then be very clear with what the problem is or a conflict, and then have a payoff or a resolution in any of the video which you're talking about. So it needs to have an introduction, it needs to have a very clear conflict, and it needs to have a resolution. Just script it in this structure. And then I want to focus on this. I've seen a lot of brands and a lot of companies end up wasting their time on this. They end up spending so much money on animated explainer videos. They end up spending so much money on high production ads and all of that. Trust me, a simple live stream on YouTube, which is free, you do for your audience or for the people you know, will be way more impactful than expensive animated and explainer videos. So don't think too much about production quality. Focus on being real, clear, authentic, and focus on trying to tell a story with good pacing. What I would suggest, if you want to buy something as an equipment, the only thing I would suggest investing in is maybe some tripod stands and a decent mic, because audio is extremely important. And for a video, trust me, any smartphone in your house will be more than enough. Just make sure that you're near a good light source. So make sure you're near a window or you're recording near a balcony. That's it. Don't spend more time than that. Now, in case you're trying to build some sort of a technology product, you need to also have a screen recording software. So you have free softwares like OBS. Just search how to record using OBS, and it's more than, you'll very quickly find out how to record. It's very, very straightforward. There are thousands of videos which have been created on it. For production, this is all you do. So are you clear with this? Any doubts about this?
Yeah.
No doubts? Okay. Perfect. Let's move on to the next part, which is where did it go? Just a sec. Yeah, got it. Now, one important thing to understand is, as you're writing out a lot of as you're uploading these videos, just make sure that you optimize titles, meaning you give a very clear title for your video on YouTube. If possible, please use a free software like Canva to create some nice thumbnails, so people actually want to click on it. And try to use all the other features which YouTube provides, like create some playlists, use cards and end screens, use community posts and stories. Just these are very straightforward features. You just use the YouTube app to understand. It's very, very easy to use. Now, as you're doing this, right, just focus on these metrics specifically for YouTube. So focus heavily on watch time and audience retention. Even if I have 50 views, if my audience retention is good, so I'll just show you what do I mean by this exactly on YouTube. I'll show you. So let's move to one of my channels. I'll go to analytics. Okay, so let's look at this video. It's one of our more popular videos. So this has about 7 lakh views. And are you seeing this graph right here? Now, I want to stress on this because we have kids and parents as well in this session. I find it hilarious when people say you have to be very catchy. You don't have time to grab attention of people these days. People are very they don't pay much time or attention and all of that. Like I find it very surprising because I have a 13-minute video which has 7 lakh views. Out of that, 10%, which is 70,000 people, have seen the whole video. Now, why am I telling you this? People are extremely interested if they find something interesting to watch. So you get average percentage watched, meaning anyone who clicks at least ends up watching at an average 18.4%. They watched for 2 minutes. But this graph tells you where people are dropping off. And a lot of and if you see, people who are staying till here are watching pretty much the whole video. So please get out of this mindset that, oh, you have to grab attention immediately and all of that. If your video is good, when I say good, I'm not talking about production quality and all. I'm saying if it's making sense, if it's adding value and you're telling a good story, people will watch. I'll give you another example of a video which is almost 45 minutes long, which has the same kind of audience retention. So just give me a minute. Let's see. Yeah, so this was a 45-minute long video. So you would assume, right, like a 45-minute long video, who's going to watch? Well, at an average, around 8% have seen almost the whole video, 40 minutes. And this video has 1 lakh views. So they are talking about 10,000 people who have seen a 45-minute long video. So guys, people watch long videos. Like, get out of that mindset that you have to grab attention immediately. In fact, whenever I hear someone who says they do marketing and you have to grab attention immediately, you only have a matter of moments or seconds to grab attention of people. I've understood that this guy has not done any real digital marketing in his life. Because anyone who's done any basic videos online will know that you get a lot of these metrics, and these metrics tell a different story. You don't expect 11,000 people to watch a video which is 45 minutes long. This video has 1 lakh views. Average view percentage is 8%. That's true. Like, a lot of people end up dropping in the beginning, but then from here onwards, the curve is almost flat, if you notice. And why I'm bringing this up is, people ask me this question a lot. How long should a video be? The answer for that is, it should be as long as it needs to be and not a second more. So if you can address the query in 30 seconds, do it. If the query needs 2 hours to address, do that. Like, don't think too much about the video duration. The video is as long as it needs to be and not 1 second more. Yeah. So if it can be a 3-hour video as well, it doesn't matter. It can be a 15-second video as well, it doesn't matter. But it's supposed to be as long as it needs to be. So I can show you tons of examples of like this where long videos have really done well. Like, I'll show you another one.
Yeah, Nikhil.
Yeah.
With respect to time, it's 10:54.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Okay. Yeah,
I have 5 more minutes, right?
Yeah, no. So we can open for questions. So people who have some questions, they can ask and connect.
Sure.
So if it is,
I'll just show one last.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'll just show one last slide, which is just a summary of what we discussed. Be very clear with identifying your target audience. If once you identify your topics, see if you can create a simple plan, like every week on this day I will upload a video, or every second day I'll upload a video. Don't try to be consistent, and don't think too much about quality and quantity of content. Just balance it enough to make sure there's enough content going out, and it's good enough quality where you're looking at the watch retention and all. And also, don't forget to experiment with various different content formats for your target audience, initially, especially. So that's about it for now, guys. One simple tip is, if you ask me for frequency, what should be the frequency? I'll be like, you need to do as many as you can. But obviously, that's not a good answer. So at least start with trying to do 1 video a week. So that's how I want to conclude. Let's open it up for questions. So we have few questions already. That's great. So one question about, okay, that I've already answered. Yeah, guys. So I've opened to questions.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah. So some videos have this thing on YouTube which says include paid promotions. I mean, what is it? What does it mean?
So guys, for paid promotions, this is how you monetize your channel. When I say monetize your channel, one way of monetizing is YouTube directly pays you. So in India, after your channel becomes big enough, 1,000, I think 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, every 1,000 views, you can earn anywhere between 50 to 150 rupees from YouTube directly. Apart from that, you have, so right now, for example, I'm in talks with this company called HAIR. I don't know if you've heard of it, Hire. On my Home Banao channel, they want to send me a product and they want me to do a demonstration of that product, and they're ready to pay me for the video. So because I have 60,000 subscribers, I can actually make good money on such paid promotions. So this is an example of a paid promotion. Advay, I hope that answers your question. So there's multiple ways of making money as a creator. First is YouTube directly paying you through YouTube ads. Second is brands approaching you for sponsorships. So when it's a sponsorship, they'll send the product or they'll pay you money and you have to do a video about their product. Third way is opening up memberships on YouTube, which memberships is basically someone is contributing to paying you every month, whatever, 150 rupees, because he's a big fan of yours. And fourth is if you start selling something called as merchandise, your t-shirts with your logo, whatever it is, to your fans and followers. I hope that answers your questions, Advai.
Yeah.
What made you to start this journey, and how did you get into this, Nikhil?
Well, so before I started working on my YouTube channel, I actually had sold a online company called Aakar. It was an online contract manufacturing marketplace. And in that company, I used to take care of all of the marketing. And in 2019 itself, this is when we started working on our YouTube channel, I met my current partner. He was already a YouTuber with 1.5 lakh subscribers at that time. Right now, it's 4.5 lakhs. And I was very surprised in 2019, before COVID itself, in India, YouTube viewership had become more than TV viewership. This is before COVID. And I was so surprised to see that so few businesses or so few people were looking at YouTube seriously. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. I've just made an exit in a company. Let's try something experimental, and started working on YouTube. That's it. Like, apart from that, I'm just someone who's very interested in marketing, and I have personally learned a lot from YouTube. So I like my engineering I cleared because of lectures on YouTube. So because my lecturers are not great. So yeah, like in fact, after starting YouTube, I was like, damn, I should have started in 2015 or, before my engineering, 2011, 12. It's allowed to become huge by now.
Okay.
Nikhil, I have a question.
Sure.
You said that if I do live stream, I should enable super chat. So when I go and there are some conditions for super chat, it says
Yes.
you should be more than 18, or you should be in a country where there is super chat.
So see, the conditions for super chat are you need to be you should be part of something called as YouTube partner program. And to get into the YouTube partner program, you need to have at least 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 watch hours in the last year. So what do I mean by that? Basically, at least people have watched your content for combined 4,000 hours. If you have these two parameters ready, then you're eligible to become a YouTube partner. After that, you have to create something called as a Google AdSense account, link your bank account, and then you can enable super chat. So YouTube has put these filters to make sure that, serious people, like people who want to commit to this are the ones who end up getting monetized. I hope that answers your question. It came from Bani, right? No, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was Manan. Okay,
Oh.
Nikhil, I have one question.
Sure.
How do we go about SEO? Like basic tips, some basic ideas how to start SEO on particular video.
So look, a very simple tip is just make the title of the video clear. Just make it clear, for example, so just give me some idea, like what do you do, Pita, like what kind of business do you do? I mean, what kind of project are you working on?
I have a YouTube channel on sustainable fashion. So
okay,
for that, yeah.
So let's take sustainable fashion example, right? Yeah. So how, for example, if I were making 2-3 videos, right? So if I'm making a video where I'm showing that a normal t-shirt which you buy has 150 liters of water. I think I've read some fact there. 150 liters of water it takes to make a normal t-shirt. So I'll make a video which states how you're wasting 150 liters of water for every t-shirt you buy. It's like very straightforward, simple. One of the simplest tips I have for SEO is don't overthink it. Make it as clear as possible and make sure that audience understands what the video is about. One more example is sustainable fashion versus real fashion, or sustainable pant versus real pant. Like, I don't know. What I would suggest is this. I forgot to address one point. Actually, someone asked the question. I'll just finish this SEO thing and I'll tell you. I mean, just go on YouTube, search and type sustainable fashion space. And I get a lot of these, right? Sustainable fashion brands, sustainable fashion ideas. I'll start with this. I'll make a sustainable fashion idea. Sustainable pants. I don't know. Like I will start somewhere here and then from here I would pick up. See, my suggestion is just start typing in search and see what's coming in recommended. For advanced tools and all, it'll take much longer to understand. But yeah, like my suggestion is just
sustainable fashion versus fast fashion.
Yeah, sure. So fast fashion versus, yeah, there you go. That's a great topic. So I would start making that. This can be just make the title has to be simple like this. The person who's ranking first, fast fashion versus sustainable fashion. Keep it simple like that, and see if you can make a video better than this. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
How about hashtags?
Look, hashtags and all are irrelevant. Yeah, don't pay too much attention to that. Across platforms, they make no impact right now. So just focus on creating good content. Like this hashtags craze is so weird. I see people spend so much time thinking about hashtags. They don't matter at all.
Okay. Thank you for saying that.
So we had another question about editing software. I have a question about what editing software do you use? Okay, so I'll answer this question in 3 parts. There's 3 different kind of editing softwares you can use. One is if you're starting off, you just have a mobile app. So you can just use a simple application like, I'll just type it out over here. So for free, you can use CapCut. You'll have to download the APK for this file and then install it. So CapCut is one. Or you can use one more free software called Capwing, which is a desktop. I mean, it's a browser-based application. These are your basic editing softwares. In a lot of Windows machines, you have Movie Maker. That's pretty good. And if you have a Mac, you have iMovie. These are your basic editing softwares. And right now, oh yeah, and as Prashant said, Kdenlive is one more. Although I felt Kdenlive has a steep learning curve, I would suggest checking out Shortcut also, Shortcut Video Editor. It's a free video editor. Now, these are some basic video editing softwares. Now, once you get more advanced, you can move to paid softwares like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro. Please understand that learning Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro is itself going to take a lot of time. So don't get into this unless and until you're committing to it. My suggestion is if you're just starting off, you don't have a very high-end laptop, just go to capwing.com or Canva. Canva also has video editing now. So just go to capwing.com or canva.com and start playing around with that. Kapwing or Canva. And that will give you enough features to get started. And later on, of course, you can improve your production quality and all of that. But what we use in our business and our company is combination of Premiere Pro and After Effects. So these are like paid softwares. People have had to go to 6 months, 1 year training to learn how these softwares are used and all of that. So I hope that answers your question, Kailal and Aarosh. Manan asked here, what mistakes do new... Akansha has a question. She's raised her hand. Can someone... Akansha, I mean, go ahead. What's your question? Okay, so I don't think she's... Oh yeah, she's posted here. When I scroll through YouTube Shorts, I see something like BTS, not the K-pop group. So there are 2 types, one K-pop group, and what's the other type? I didn't understand your question, Akansha. Can you be more clear?
Okay. So what I meant by is when I scroll through YouTube Shorts, I just see many things like in the captions, like something like BTS, but not the Korean K-pop group BTS, but something like in the content creation, there is something called BTS, right? What does that mean?
BTS is behind the scenes, Akansha. So they'll show behind the scenes how you're organizing an event or how you're recording something.
So it's just the short form of it.
Exactly. BTS is the short form of behind the scenes. It's just an abbreviation.
Okay.
We had another question. What are common mistakes which... Oh yeah, does that answer your question, Akansha?
Yes, it does, Nikhil. Thanks.
So Manan, here, what mistakes do new content creators, CC, make? So Manan, one simple mistake I've seen people make is they don't put out enough content before expecting results. To give you some perspective, to get to 1,000 subscribers in one Home Banao, I had to put out 125 videos. So, And then to get from 1,000 to 10,000 subscribers, I just had to put 6 videos. And then from 10,000 to 60,000 subscribers, I just had to put like another 8-10 videos. You know, like, I mean, I'm sure the numbers are not accurate, but I'm just telling you, like, to get that initial momentum, to figure out what people like, to see how to make good videos and all, it's going to take a huge volume of content. So, like, I would suggest, if you're serious about content creation, 100 videos blindly you should put out. Just make 100 videos without thinking too much. And after that, if you're not working, I mean, my number is here. You call me, I'll make sure we'll get it to work. But first 100 videos blindly you should put out. Like, don't even think about views and likes and all. Just 100 videos. Aankh band karke dalo.
Maybe children are interested in the kind of videos can they for me. Like whoever has already tried and they want to have some more information from you. So can they connect with you, Nikhil?
Yeah, sure. You can text me on WhatsApp, or I'll give my email ID. I'm happy to help. But guys, if you come to me before making at least 100 videos, I'll be like, make 100 videos first. That's going to be my only advice. The reason I'm telling make 100 videos is, by that time you would have understood the process of editing, of writing, of creating titles, thumbnails, and then I can help you optimize it and make it better. But if you've still not made 100 videos, like, I'll end up having to train you on basics and all, and like, there's no point there. Like, the basics you can learn on YouTube itself, like how we did. So I'm happy to help, but that guy needs to have made 100 videos. That's my condition. There's a question here. Someone has a question. Yeah.
Yeah. So another question for me. So there are a lot of people who make content on the same thing. So like, how do I get the attention from the audience?
Okay. So one simple tip I have for you is, one way which I judge whether a YouTube video is going to do well or not is if I am showing something which people have not seen before on the platform. So as much as possible, even if I'm trying to address a query, how do I make, even if for that 5-minute video, say 2 minutes, I can make unique in some way. So I have to think of ideas which people haven't seen before. There will definitely be an overlap and it will be hard initially. But one of the simplest thing, Manan, you can do is, even if it is a topic which people have done. So in your case, for example, Call of Duty games, they have done, challenges, they have done this, that. You have to try crazy challenges, like which people have not seen. For example, if I were you, I'd be like, I played Call of Duty mobile blindfolded. You got what I'm trying to say? You'll have to think of ideas like that, which people have absolutely not seen. And that is how you get attention. Like, if I were you, that's how I would approach it. But think of ideas like that. So on Home Bana, one of the things which we focused heavily on is, we felt that, in construction industry, it's very opaque and many people don't know how the buildings which they live in are made. So some of our videos are focused on factories. We actually go to factories and do a lot of videos on how bricks are made, on how blocks are made. We presented it very nicely. So I felt some of the the second part is, if someone has already done a video on that topic, can you make a video better than him? So this is what we did. So we saw a lot of factory videos where, I mean, the factory owner has just taken his phone and he's recorded it, but he's not told what the process is, or the audio is not clear. So we focused on trying to make sure that the process is understood clearly. So just think of ideas like that. So think of wacky ideas, think of crazy ideas, think of ideas which people haven't seen before. And if people have seen it before, is there a way where you can make it better? Like either in terms of production quality, or in terms of storytelling, or in terms of video quality or audio quality, whatever it is. Or like by sharing more facts. Manan, I hope that answers your question.
Nikhil, it's actually 11:11 right now.
Okay.
So the session is almost over. It has to be done by 11.
Okay.
So shall we wrap up?
Yeah, sure. So there's no other questions, I'm guessing?
Yeah. So any questions for Nikhil? I guess so. No, there are no more questions. But thank you so much, Nikhil, for taking time and meeting us today. We really
Sure.
enjoyed this. And I guess you have any questions? Anyone?
It was a really informative session, Nikhil. I absolutely don't have any ideas about this creating videos or YouTube videos and all that. Recently, I just started making, so it was a real good informative session. And we were working on Coversity videos, where we are targeting the program, where this is an opportunity for 14 to 20-year-old. So now I'm a little able to connect and relate what you are sharing and all that. That was very informative, and thanks for spending your time, busy time with us, and sharing so much of knowledge and experience to us.
Sure. Thank you so much, guys. It was fun interacting with all of you. So yeah, I've given my mail ID. My phone number is right here. If you have any questions, just text me. I'll try to reply. But yeah, WhatsApp is the best way to get to me. I rarely pick up phones, so because typically we are doing shoots and all of that. So I'm typically, but yeah, I reply relatively promptly on WhatsApp. So thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed this session, and see you guys soon, I guess. Bye.
Maybe
I have been asking. I think I've been asking. I forgot Rekha to tell me if there's an offline session which is possible, because I wanted to do a live video and edit it, in front of you. So, but yeah, do let me know if an offline session is also possible. I'm really excited to come down to Aarohi and see the place. Yeah.
Yes, sure. We will invite you, Nikhil, to campus.
Sure. Awesome, guys.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Nikhil, this is the number which people can connect with you on.
Yes.
WhatsApp.
96-795-13231.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Thank you.